di Indonesia. Beliau kebetulan hadir di Indonesia selaku visiting profesor yang kebetulan diundang oleh Badan Riset dan Inovasi Nasional BRIN. Ya. Jadi selama kunjungan beliau di Indonesia merupakan partner kolaborasi riset antara Miyazaki University dengan Badan Riset dan Inovasi Nasional Indonesia. Ya, kebetulan beliau hari Kamis kemarin berkesempatan untuk bersilaturahmi dan berkunjung ke Balai Besar Uji Standar Karantina Pertanian, dan dari hasil diskusi kami menyampaikan ada beberapa hal mungkin kerjasama ke depan dengan karantina dan juga kesediaan Prof untuk memberikan public lecture atau quarantine lecture terkait dengan penyakit PMK. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, kebetulan kalau kita melihat dari sejarah PMK in Japan, the last declare free from FMD is on 1908 ya. 1918. No, the first time declare. Iya. Iya. Ya Bapak Ibu, jadi kalau lihat membaca di beberapa media ya, ini Jepang mendapatkan outbreak ya, terakhir PMK di tahun 2020 ya. Tahun 2020 tepatnya pada tanggal 19 April 2010. Kemudian 130 hari kemudian ya, 130 hari kemudian Jepang mampu mengeradikasi penyakit PMK dan dinyatakan bebas oleh OIE pada tanggal 5 Februari tahun 2011. Nah, mungkin barangkali pada kesempatan pagi hari ini kita ingin mendengarkan kiat-kiat seperti apa ya, kaitan dengan bagaimana cara melakukan kontrol strategi terkait dengan penyakit mulut dan kuku, khususnya yang terjadi di Miyazaki Prefektur atau di Provinsi Miyazaki. Karena selama ini dilaporkan case kaitan dengan PMK terjadi di Miyazaki. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, sebagaimana diketahui mungkin ada kemiripan Bapak Ibu antara negara Indonesia dengan negara Jepang gitu ya. Yang dua-duanya merupakan island nation ya, negara kepulauan ya, negara kepulauan. Jepang juga tidak hanya terdiri satu pulau, tapi ada beberapa pulau gitu ya. Pun sama dengan Indonesia. Oleh karena itu mungkin barangkali dari perspektif kepulauan tadi, bagaimana cara Jepang bisa mengontrol dan mengendalikan penyakit PMK hingga pada akhirnya bisa dapat diselesaikan tanpa menyebar ke pulau-pulau yang lain. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, sebelum kita mulai kegiatan ini, saya ingin menyampaikan dulu kepada Prof. Tamaki. Today we are very happy, Prof, to be present among us the Honorable Profesor Tamaki Okabayashi from Department of Veterinary Medicine, Faculty of Agriculture, Miyazaki University. Prof. Tamaki also as a Vice Director at Center for Animal Disease Control of University of Miyazaki, Japan. Today, Prof. Tamaki will give a quarantine lecture atau public lecture regarding to the sharing knowledge, the food and mouth disease control strategy in Miyazaki, Japan. As you know, our country has similarities with the Japan, that both are island nation. Japan was declared free from FMD in 1908, and then the last report outbreak of the FMD in 2010 in April 2010, and then after 130 days later, they can eradicate the FMD disease and free from FMD by OIE at 5 February 2011. Ladies and gentlemen, Please welcome to Prof. Tamaki, and the time is yours. Please, you can sharing what the strategy, control, and food mouse disease control strategy in Miyazaki to all of us in quarantine of Indonesia. Time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Kind of introduction, Dr. Sriant. Sorry, my Bahasa Indonesia is not good. Anyway, good morning. Thank you very much for kind introduction. I'm very happy to here to share the information of our experience. We experienced the FMD outbreak in Miyazaki. So today I would like to talk about the how did we control the FMD and the general information of the quarantine office service in Japan, and to tackle such a transboundary disease, not only FMD or another transboundary, what we are doing now. I want to share that information. Okay, from here I will share the. I want to share this slide. Can you see my slide? Is it okay? Okay, thank you very much. Now we are starting. My name is Tamaki Okabayashi. I am a Vice Director of CADIC, Center for Animal Disease Control, University of Miyazaki, Japan. And furthermore, I have a double position in the bullying. It's a new, I think you know well about what is a bullying. I'm have a position of the visiting professor of the bullying. And before the presentation, I would like to express my great appreciation for the Bubus Cup because you invited me and my PhD student, Dr. Lisa Shiringo from the university. And thank you very much to make a chance to introduce our research and our research activity and our experience. And furthermore, I want to say thanks to the bullying, especially the head of the zoonotic diseases, Harimurti Nuradi. And furthermore, Dr. Eddie. He also graduated at University of Miyazaki, and he nominated me as a visiting professor of the bullying. So Dr. Harimurti accepted me to be the visiting professor. And this picture, last year, we have an international conference to share the information of livestock disease. At that time, Dr. Hari already visited Miyazaki, and he introduced the FMD situation in Indonesia. And to control the FMD, as you know, FMD is a legal issue in Japan, legal disease. So without MARF support, we cannot do anything. So especially Dr. Sakamoto, he was a former director of NARO, Ministry of Agriculture, Forest, National Agriculture and Food Research. And after that, then he is a member of our center. And he connected me to the NARO and the MARF. Okay. Okay, I want to, before the talk about the FMD, I want to explain who am I, or what we are doing. Center for Animal Disease Control, CADIC. You can see that this is a symbol of our center. And here, this slide shows that location of the Miyazaki. Miyazaki is located in here, south part of the Japan. And you can see Tokyo is around here, Osaka, Hokkaido. It's very, so compared with Tokyo, a little warmer. And we have many, Miyazaki specific is a livestock industry. We have many chicken farm, beef farm, and cattle farm, and pig farm also. So if we have a chance to come to the Japan, Miyazaki, I want to take care of you about such a Miyazaki products. because our meat products, pork, broiler, beef, marketing share of Japan is very high and not number one, but our marketing share rate of Miyazaki products is almost number one. And furthermore, quality of the very high, because you can see this beef marble. This is a Miyazaki beef that is a very famous, and we won a championship in the quality of the meat products. But unfortunately, we have many livestock diseases: avian influenza, bovine leukocytosis, bovine respiratory disease, or the other disease also. Especially, big issue is this one, FMD. Basically, as you know, FMD, Japan is a FMD-free country, but we have an outbreak of the FMD outbreak in Miyazaki 2010. So at that time, we have to stop. We have to stop the export of Miyazaki pork from Miyazaki pork export. We have to stop the export of the Miyazaki meat from another country. So economical damage is so severe in Japan. So from this, what we learned from this, from the outbreak. So as I told you, we don't have any experience of the FMD outbreak. So we didn't know how to tackle, how to control the FMD at that time, because we, include me, we have never seen the real FMD. We just read it in the textbook. And furthermore, veterinarian also, nobody knows how to practice in the handling the FMD infected animal in the farm. So at that time, government, university, and we noticed that it is necessary to set up the international network, especially the Asian country, because you are the neighbor country, and because to learn to tackle the FMD diseases, or not only the FMD, such a transboundary disease control will be the necessary. So at that time, so Japanese government supported us to set up our center in our university. This is he is a former director of Naoaki Misawa, and currently director is Dr. Ayako. She's a parasitologist. We have 4 divisions in our center. So division disease control, that is the epidemiology team, and the infectious disease and the research and the inspection. They develop the diagnosis system and the research part. And the international cooperation and the education, I'm a head of this division, and I'm division. And furthermore, we have another division of the livestock science and support. You can see that this is our building, and one of the example, one of the some facility. So from here, I show the mission of CADIC. As I told you, we have experienced the FMD, not only the FMD or the highly pathogenic avian influenza also, but we had many diseases, especially the transboundary diseases. So our purpose of CADIC is, of course, advanced research for disease control and the technical development of livestock food products. And not only the research part, we want to promote such a contribution of the disease control, not only the regional, but also the international also. Furthermore, we are the university, so that is a very big mission for us, the global development of the global human resources for the leader of the disease control. So now we are trying to set up the international disease control network in all over the world, especially the Asian countries. Here you can see the facility of our center. So not only the research part, but also such a clinical part also. We have such a CT scan for cattle. And this slide shows that one of the examples of the development of human resources, especially for younger expert. I'm sorry you cannot see, but we invited a younger researcher or staff, not only the Japan, but also the Asian country to do the training, how to diagnose and how to do the such a analysis, practice of epidemiological analysis using a GIS, something. And furthermore, we invited a foreigner staff, a lecturer from another country to share the information of the transboundary diseases. This slide shows one of the examples of the international collaboration with Indonesia. You can see that some, some person from the Indonesia student. This is one of the academic exchange system supported by the Japanese government. We called it Sakura Science. Sakura is such a cherry blossom. You know that. That is a Japanese very famous flower, cherry blossom, Japanese cherry blossom. So this program name is a Sakura Exchange Program. So in this, under this program, we invited the younger researcher to share the Japanese culture and the science field and the technology. This photo is a 2016. We invited many staff from not only the IPB, but also the Airanga or Udayana or other university. Of course, it is possible to invite the government officer also. And after that, then, based on this Sakura Science collaboration, we promote the international collaboration with, especially triangle collaboration with Indonesia and Thailand. And at that time, of course, our target is livestock productivity. To promote the livestock productivity, of course, we consider disease control is one of the important issue, important strategy to do it. So at that time, we set up the our research branch in IPB University. And furthermore, we made an international conference in Bali and Thailand. Okay, so anyway, in our center, we also want to know that we also want to make a strong network to tackle the global countermeasure against the transboundary disease. From here, I will share the information of the Japanese FMD and how to control it. This slide shows that recent FMD outbreak in Japan. Over the past 100 years in Japan, we have just only second times FMD outbreak, 2000 and 2010. Both, you can see that both occurred only the Miyazaki and the Hokkaido. First time, Hokkaido cases are not so severe, only the just one farm. And the Miyazaki also just 3 farms. So, but unfortunately, the outbreak of the 2000, the situation is so different. At that time, we have to cure the many cattle and pigs, and so many farms were attacked of the FMD outbreak. Of course, cell type is, you can see that, and O type and different strain genotype are attacked like this one. So this slide show that, figure show that outline of the FMD in 2010. After the first case was confirmed at April 90, infected cattle farm were continuously detected within a relatively limited area. And after that, then 27 April, first pig case was confirmed. After that, then suddenly the outbreak number, outbreak was confirmed outside the movement restriction zone. After that, then pig cases were reported, and the number of FMD cases and pig and cattle suddenly, rapidly increased like this. And the government decided at that time, they decided to carry out the emerging vaccination for all cattle and the pig farm in the main infected area to restrict the further spread of the diseases. After the 2 weeks, the vaccination, the number of outbreaks had decreased like this, and from this figure, vaccination could work well, you can see like that. But from these cases, we understand pig is a very important spreader for the FMD diseases. So our first case was confirmed, as I told you, April 9th, on the beef breeding farm in Miyazaki. But at that time, who noticed? It's such a private veterinarian first detected abnormal symptom on this first farm. He just noticed the very small clinical sign, not the typical clinical sign like a vesicula or something. But he doubted with the FMD infection and asked them to diagnose it in the local government office. But as you know, in Japan, FMD is diagnosis is centralized as well as your country. So we have to send that sample to the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture. It's already 10 days after the first suspicion. And furthermore, to confirm the first cases, after that, then they performed the PCR. It's already 11 days after the first suspicion. After that, then 20th of April, Japanese government decided to set up the movement or restriction from the area within a 20 kilometers. But as I told you, basically we are the FMD country, FMD-free country. So we consider that how does the FMD virus get in Japan? Here I show the outline of the animal quarantine service. That is the general information of the Japan. I think that you can get this information in the MAF website. So as well as your country, to prevent the entry of infectious animal diseases, of course, FMD, rinderpest, African swine fever, BSE, blah, blah, something. Japanese quarantine inspection are carried out on important and exported livestock, animal poultry, and animal procedure like this one. And of course, after the shipboard or the airplane inspection, of course, arriving animal are examined on board on the ship or the airplane by the animal quarantine office to establish whether they show that any clinical symptom or infection animal disease before using unloaded. Once loaded, they are transported as AQS, is isolated facility. And after the being individual checked, animal held in the isolated facility are subjected to clinical test, blood test, and antibody test, and so on. So this slide shows that here is a quarantine period of this each animal.
For MID, how long period
for what?
FMD?
We cannot. We don't. If we found the FMD cases, we will never keep it because we will kill it, slaughter it. If we found, yes, now Dr. Srianto asked me that if we found the FMD cases, we have never seen the FMD cases, but if we found it, we will never permit to enter our country. This slide shows that import inspection of animal product. That is a meat product. But not only the meat product, we check like a grain straw or the forage also. After we found not permitted for release, we will return it to each other country like this one. And then we check the feather, animal fare, hide also. After that, we permitted for release, we can check it customer's clearance. And we have such an inspection in the around 32 inspections in Japan. Not only the airport, but also the shipport also. So from estimation of the data of clinical development, infections of FMD already occur before the outbreak. It means the PCR testing of sample collected in March. It means that before the outbreak, we already confirmed that outbreak already starting in Miyazaki. But what material? But it is MAF reported, not our data, because university level cannot touch the data. So MAF government said that because they have a very strict quarantine system, so they say that we cannot, they can deny the organism of the livestock products, no. And the spread by the widow is no. But government suspected of people or the illegal import of livestock products may be related to with carry of the FMD virus. And furthermore, grain straw for the not only the livestock, because we use such a straw, you understand, straw, not only the livestock bed, but also some farmer for the plant, vegetable farmer or something, they also use such a straw. So it was suspected that these straw may be contaminated with FMD virus, but nobody know the truth. We couldn't find any scientific data to demonstrate it. Okay, from here, I would like to show the FMD affected area. This is this white. This is a Kyushu, and this is a Miyazaki prefecture. This colored area is an endemic area of the FMD. So from the first cases appeared this area, and around 20 kilometers like this area, we set up the limited area, and this 20 kilometers from south to north in the central area of Miyazaki prefecture. But we made such a movement restricted rule, but you can see outside of the this restricted area, some sporadic cases are reported like this. Sporadic site of the infection were detected because some farmers try to carry out their cattle, because in Japan, Miyazaki beef is very expensive, so they try to hide or save their cattle from the FMD. So after the first case of the cattle, April 28th, first case of the infection in pig were reported, like this one. So you can see that. So after that, then the area of most affected had a high density of the cattle farm area, like this one. So in this area, we have so many pig farm and cattle farm. So it's one of the reasons why we cannot inhibit the outbreak of the FMD in this area. So from here, I will share the strategy to manage of the FMD endemic in Miyazaki based follow this story. First, we started a primary eradication strategy for FMD in Japan is stamping out and movement restriction. And as soon as the FMD was confirmed, control measures were implemented under the provision of the relevant law and the guidelines. So it means the Japanese government prepared such a law and guideline. And they decided all infected animal and suspected, not only the infected animal, suspected animal also cured like this one. And the carcass, feces, feed, bedding material, everything we have to valid on this infected. And furthermore, as for the feces, fecal sample that could not be valid because we don't have a much spaces. So virus, we have to treat in activation by heating. And the next is a strategy of the movement control. So movement restriction zone or like this, just a 10 kilometer. However, sporadic site. Government decide shipment restriction zone within a radius of the 20 kilometer around an infection farm. So after that, then it means they police also prepared a stop gate and a quarantine disinfection spot. We put the many total 403 disinfection post was set to disinfect the vehicle passing through this area. So you can see it's not a snow, it's like a disinfection we use. But unfortunately, we found some sporadic cases. So after that, then Japanese government, I succeeded to isolate the virus and the characterization of the virus. So it was said that this strain is O type and SEA type and very similar with the Myanmar strain. But after that, then this Myanmar strain is very similar with the China strain. So we suspected that this FMD virus came from the China. So next is a vaccination strategy. So as you know, vaccination strategy is very important, but when we use the vaccine, the purpose is that we have two purposes to use the vaccine: vaccine for kill or vaccine for life. In this case, Japanese government choose that we use this vaccine inhibit of the FMD spreading, and we use this vaccine for killed. So emerging vaccination was started using an O-type vaccination. A stockpile for emergency in Japanese government. It was stocked in Japanese government. And all cloven-footed animal, it means the cattle and the goat, pig also were targeted. And the vaccination zone within a 10 kilometer radicals were established around the infected farm until the May 18, like this one. We made such a zoning. So this slide shows the zoning with ring vaccination, we called it. Vaccination, this is an outbreak area. So vaccination was conducted in the C zone, this gray zone area, because this disaster source area, and this is a disaster source, and this pink area is a movement restricted. And so we set that this area as a vaccination zone to spread out, to inhibit the spread out of the FMD virus from the B area to through the C area. So we believe that this white zone is a D area, is a safety area. So that is the purpose of the vaccination is to control the expansion speed of the spreading of the FMD from the B area to D area. So next is the surveillance. So after the disposal of carcass and the material at infection farm, we do the clinical surveillance and the serological surveillance. It means we use the ELISA system at the NIH. Of course, conducted on all suspected animals kept out on farm within the movement restriction zone, and the serological surveillance. We want to know that this surveillance to confirm the infection and the vaccination. So one infected farm with 16 cattle was by surveillance. So Japanese, after the August 27th, sorry. So this is after the lifting the movement restriction. So clinical surveillance conducted all cattle Miyazaki Prefecture to confirm the eradication. So at that time, we confirmed that August 27, we confirmed that we couldn't see any animal, they showed a clinical sign. And furthermore, serological surveillance, we carried this surveillance 150 randomly cattle farms at the time, not only the cattle farm, but also we checked wild deer and wild boar also. At the time, finally, August 27, we confirmed that our area is perfectly FMD negative for the no clinical sign and no serological positive animal we couldn't find. So at that time, we declared the end of the FMD outbreak in Miyazaki. Of course, we succeeded, but the damage is so severe. This is a number of animals cured. So suspected to infected. You can see that we killed this slaughter, not slaughter, killed this 21,000 cattle. And not only the suspected or the infected cases, we killed such a vaccinated one also, you can see that. Because why we choose this one? Because even if after the vaccination, please make it clear, what is the purpose of the vaccination? To protect, not protect the appear the clinical sign. Our purpose of the vaccination is inhibit the spreading of the FMD from the endemic area. So finally, we have to kill these cattle also, these animals also, we have to kill it. So totally, these animals were cured in this at that time. You can see that like this one. So finally, to start first from the first case to the August 27th, it took 130 days battle. We tackled the FMD. So total number of animals destroyed is like this. Here you can see the detailed information. And the number of farms infected to around the salary. Vaccinated is vaccinated farm is like this one. How many people work over there, so cannot count anymore. And this number of disinfection point in the peak is over the 300. At that time, actually, the people of the Miyazaki people cannot go to the another province because another next province, not only the country. For example, Miyazaki people cannot go to the next province because another province is afraid to the outbreak of the FMD, spreading of the FMD from Miyazaki to another area. So yeah, actually before the COVID-19, we know that how to control the diseases. So at that time, we not only the animal, but also the people also cannot go to the another area from the Miyazaki. So not only the such a livestock industry, many events were canceled in the Miyazaki as well as COVID-19. So economical damages are very, very severe in the not only Miyazaki, not only the Miyazaki, because we have to stop the export of the beef products from Wagyu. Wagyu also cannot export at that time. Not only the Miyazaki, all over the Japan. So economic damages are over the this one. This damage is just only the Miyazaki. So finally, fortunately, we succeeded to recover from the outbreak FMD outbreak. So how to recovery of the FMD free status of OIE status? Here, this is a OIE state FMD free status. So we can choose to appear that decline the to appear that FMD free country or zone or vaccinated not practice. Here, this slide shows the region in the status of FMD free country. So one of the following waiting period is required. So Japanese government choose to follow the this second one. So first one is 3 months after the last cases were stamping out policy. But we couldn't do that because we use the vaccine in Japan. So we choose this strategy. 3 months after the slaughter of the all emergency vaccinated animal were stamping out policy because as I told you, we use the vaccine in Japan. So at that time, our status becomes the FMD free endemic country. And the FMD next, after we use the vaccine, our status becomes the FMD free with vaccine country. But as I told you, our purpose of the vaccination is not to save the cattle, that is kill the cattle to inhibit the spreading of the FMD outbreak. So we choose that this one. So due to that we choose the this status and the strategy. After that, then we can recover the FMD free status as soon as possible. But if, of course, we have a chance, we have a choice of this number 3. 6 months after the last cases of the last vaccination. And of course, we have to the stamping out policy and vaccination not followed by the slaughterhouse, blah, blah, something. But if we choose the Japan government choose this one, not only the 103 days, we have to stop our export from the meat product in Japan over the 3 months. So I think that Japanese government choose this strategy to recover the FMD meat export as soon as possible. Okay, that is the situation of the FMD. Next, what we learned from the FMD outbreak. So I think that our FMD virus carried, I don't know who carried this virus, but Japanese government animal quarantine service make a strong disinfection system. I think that you can see that such a shoe disinfection shoes or travelers and the vehicle at the airport. And we increase the such a quarantine detector dog in the airport and the sea. And furthermore, we suspected the endemic of outbreak the ASF. We checked the such a system, and this is a animal quarantine service announcement in the airport. You can see, have ever seen the such a leaflet or the poster in the airport? It is that you must not bring any meat product, vegetable, or fruits into Japan, like this one. And sorry, but unfortunately, we found such a illegal export and imported cases of meat. It's just not all. If you want to show that everything, you can visit this website, MAF, Government of Japan, you can find. So you can see that from the Thailand, Taiwan, China, well, not only these cases, just one of the examples. Many people carry the meat products or the meat. And as you know, we already found the African swine fever cases and succeeded to isolate the African swine fever virus from the meat products it was collected in detected in the airport, as well as Indonesia country. Okay, and this is a control by the quarantine office. But next, I want to introduce what we are doing to control or tackle such a transboundary disease in our center. Of course, we do the research, but one of our research topics, we are trying to develop the diagnosis system using a variety equipment or machine or system, immunochromatography, and to identify the bacteria, we use such a biotyper, real-time PCR, and you know that droplet digital PCR, that is a high sensitivity PCR. Only the one copy number we can find the pathogen gene. And this is a mobile PCR. Later I will explain. And this one is also mobile, not mobile, nanopore sequencer to identify the pathogen genome, whole genome analysis. Now we installed such a desktop nanopore sequencer, but also this mobile nanopore sequencer. It's not a MinION. I think that you use some group use such a MinION system, but this is not MinION, including analysis PC also included in this small gadget. So next time, if you have a chance, I want to bring this one, and you can use this analysis protocol to identify the whole genome sequencing. And this is a mobile PCR system. So I want to introduce about this mobile PCR system. You can see the size of this one. It's not so different. You are an iPad or you are a mobile phone. And this is a PCR system, mobile real-time PCR system. We called it Pico Gene. It was produced in Japanese company, not a China company. So, it is possible to measure the DNA, RNA using the same primer you used in your for the desktop PCR. So it means no need to set up the new primer set for this machine. And you can compare the sensitivity or specificity of primer for the pathogen. Here we show that we check the correlation of this Picogene machine and the Roche desktop machine targeting sarcovirus. We already confirmed that they showed a good correlation of the desktop machine and the Picogene machine. Sensitivity also not so different. And the advantage of this mobile machine is like this. Of course, we can, this is a real, and but the running time is very short. Within 15 or the 20 minutes, we can run it. And the price for one run is $7 US per one reaction. You can apply the sample in this chip and set this chip under the bottom of this machine and just start. And within 20 minutes, you can get to the result. But now we are trying to, furthermore, this time we don't carry this reagent, but now we are trying to develop the freeze-dried PCR master mix, because the purpose of this mobile PCR to run it in the field or the another area for the quarantine support separated, isolated from the main research center. So it is usually to carry the reagent for PCR, it is necessary to set up the cold chain. It's a freezer or some ice will be the necessary. But if we can use a freeze-dried PCR master mix, no need to bring, no need to use the cold chain transportation system. Now we are trying to develop this one with company. So now why I am here, because from the 25th January to the 15th, I am working at the Bullying and the Bulbous Cup. And here, what we are doing, we are trying to develop the African swine fever detection system using this mobile PCR. So I would like to appreciate Bulbous Cup. Bulbous Cup? My Bulbous Cup I cannot pronounce. BBU Cup and the Bullying shared sample. And from the field collection specimen, organ, meat products we target. And furthermore, in the field, we cannot use the centrifuge machine. So in this time, we use the special buffer provided by Takara Bio Company, just mixed with the buffer and the sample and keep it room temperature. It is possible to use it. They already, my PhD student and the staff of the Bulbous captain already confirmed that we can run it for the meat product, spring and the sausage also, and the DNA from the blood. And furthermore, this PCR machine, you can run the, not only the single PCR, but also the multiple one. In this case, we target the classical swine fever, the African swine fever farm, and the GAPD as the internal control. So if you change the primer, you can, I think that you can establish a new diagnosis system using this mobile PCR. So this is one of the example of the results. My PhD student, Lisa Ringo, made it this data from the homogenate of the meat product and the organ. This is a 10% homogenate and mixed well, this is buffer L. And you can see that some line is appear like this one. This green color is a farm level of the African swine fever, and this blue line is a GAPDH, international control. This red is a CSF, so it means that this product is not infected with the CSF, infected with the African swine fever. So you can see the CT value like this one. It is very easily. Now we are trying to check, analysis the correlation of the result of the desktop PCR and our Picogene mobile PCR machine. It's a very easy. Now I prepared movie, but it will take a time. But you can see that this is a very small machine and just prepare the like chip. Sorry, globe is a very big, so you can. In this plate chip, so PCR mixture run this line. Sorry, globe is a very big, but and then this in this chip they can run the for example annealing part, extract denature part or something. So we can run the very quickly within 50 minutes. And the sample application and the sample preparation also not so difficult, just mixed with reagents. So just set this chip to the bottom of this machine. You can see that, right? So that's all. Very simple and easy. Yes. After the you can see 80 minutes or something, 70 minutes already. So after the 70 minutes, you can see that. Okay, finally, just additional information. Of course, livestock disease is very important, but not only the livestock diseases, we are tackling zoonotic diseases, especially the new diseases. As you know, I think that now I concern that the tick-borne diseases are increasing in all over the world. You can see that this red is a new tick-borne diseases. It was called with SFTS or heartland diseases. So please please make a memo. This is a new disease, severe fever with thrombocytopenia syndrome, so-called SFTS. It is a new emerging disease for human and animal. And these diseases were reported. Human cases, mortality cases were reported in China 2011. After that, then Korea, Japan, we detected human cases. And after that, this surveillance in Asian country, Thailand, Myanmar, Pakistan also, they already confirmed the case prevalence of this disease in their country. This is a virus disease. The virus name is Pheniovirus Banda virus, and we call it a WA Banda virus. This is a new group of the in the Pheniovirus. It means like a Bunya virus. So this virus is a group of the Crimea, Congo, or the hantavirus, hemorrhagic fever virus, and furthermore Rift Valley also. So from this group, you can understand SFTS is a very severe disease, and basically it was transmitted by the tick. Here, this slide shows the clinical characteristic of these diseases. Fever stage, multi-organ febrile diseases, and convalescence stages. But you can see that start from the flu-like diseases, fever, malaise, headache, something. But very acute progress, they show that such a hemorrhagic tendency or DIC and a CNS clinic central nervous system symptom, very severe. I have seen the patient, but very scared. And you can see that this is a mortality rate of clinical mortality rate of in China and Japan. And mortality rate is around 30%. We have never seen such a dangerous diseases in Japan, but now we have 100 cases per year. totally now we found over the 800 cases in Japan. And first, it was considered this virus is transmitted by the tick. So you can understand, you can see that. Of course, tick-borne disease, basically it was maintained in the forest or such a bush with a wild animal and the tick. And accidentally, people were bited by the tick. So we believe that tick-borne disease is not so severe, not so big issue in our country at that time. But when China, Korea, Japanese group do the surveillance of the SFTS in animal, you can see that cattle, pig, chicken, their antibody prevalence is very high. We don't have such a research in Japan. And such a middle size of animal go to deer, wild boar. In China, they have a very high prevalence. You can see wild boar and deer, we have almost half or a quarter of the animal were already infected with this disease. It means that this virus is maintained in the forest or the wild such a field with such as these wild animal. But after that, then we noticed that cat was infected with these diseases and dog also. So now we are monitoring our dog and cat cases, but we found that cat also shows a very severe disease. Their mortality rate is over the 60%. And furthermore, after the cat was infected, this cat shedding the virus from the oral or the anal or the urine. It means so our preliminary data, the veterinarian, they took care that such an infected cat or dog, they were infected with this disease. And in some cases, we cannot save that patient. It means some veterinarian was died after they took the care of this cat. So now in our group reported that not only the such a sylvatic cycle, but also the urban cycle were very important to control the this SFTS virus. But I'm not sure now. We don't know the real situation of in Asia, especially in Indonesia. It was not reported. Or nobody checked this tick-borne disease. But I think that in your country, Indonesia, you have tick-borne diseases, leishmaniasis or something. So I think that if it may be necessary to set up the surveillance for not only the livestock disease control, but also zoonotic disease also. This is one of the proposal from our side. Well, of course, here I show the research topic of our center. If you are interested or something, I can connect you to this person. So if you are interested, why don't you contact with us? Okay, thank you very much. This is the end of my presentation, but I hope you and I hope we can set up to tackle the research project or the research team to tackle the transboundary disease with your country. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Prof. Tamaki Okabayashi, for your presentation. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati dan juga Pak Dr. Heri, ini kebetulan hadir juga di Zoom ini. Barusan telah kita menyimak secara detail apa yang telah dipaparkan oleh Prof. Tamaki. tadi di awal presentasi beliau menyampaikan terkait adanya kekurangan atau kelemahan untuk mengatasi PMK, the lack of FMD disease control. Yang pertama tadi kaitkan dengan sulitnya membedakan transboundary disease ya, atau penyakit yang bisa melintas batas negara yang saat itu terjadi, yaitu malignan ya, epidemik ya, atau penyakit epidemik malignan gitu ya. Karena memiliki kemiripan gitu ya. Karena sudah terjadi epidemik, artinya case itu sudah ada, maka orang tidak ya, melihat itu penyakit PMK. Jadi perlunya untuk pengetahuan bagaimana bisa mendeteksi atau membedakan antara malignant disease dengan FMK. Yang kedua adalah pentingnya perlunya, sorry, I just explain what you presented in bahasa to my friend. Ya, the summary, ya, just summary. Yang kedua Bapak Ibu, tadi pentingnya juga kaitan dengan penyakit PMK adalah bagaimana kita bisa meningkatkan pengetahuan secara praktis itu ya, practical experiences ya, meningkatkan. Jadi kekurangan lag tadi ya, kekurangan atau kelemahan tadi antaranya adalah membedakan different diagnosis antara FMK dengan malignant disease. Yang kedua adalah kekurangan atau lack of practical experiences, artinya kelemahan atau kekurangan kaitan dengan pengalaman secara praktek gitu, praktikal gitu. Yang ketiga adalah belum adanya atau mungkin perlu adanya develop international education program. Ada penting adanya program pendidikan secara internasional kaitan dengan penyakit PMK. Bapak Ibu, terkait dengan 4 hal tadi atau kekurangan tadi, Jepang mengembangkan program kaitan untuk pengendalian PMK, penyakit FMD. Yang pertama adalah yaitu dengan melakukan advanced research activity. Mereka melakukan secara meluas ya kaitan penelitian terkait dengan PMK. Ya, expand research activity. Kemudian yang kedua adalah membangun regional dan internasional collaboration atau regional dan internasional contribution ya, contribution artinya kolaborasi, kerjasama dan kontribusi secara regional dan internasional untuk pengendalian penyakit PMK ini. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah bagaimana Jepang juga meningkatkan technical development for livestock product gitu ya. Jadi meningkatkan ke teknik ya, teknik bagaimana bisa meningkatkan tadi ya kaitan dengan bidang peternakan. Kemudian yang ketiga, yang keempat adalah membangun develop global human resources, membangun yaitu sumber daya manusia global terutama kepada leader of the disease control. Jadi terutama pembangunan sumber daya ini adalah dikhususkan terutama bagi leader pengambil keputusan kaitan dengan pengendalian PMK ini. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, kalau tadi menyimak paparan dari Prof. Tamaki, ini kita melihat ada 4 strategi yang diterapkan untuk pengendalian PMK di Prefektur Miyazaki. Yang pertama adalah stamping out dan movement restriction ya. Jadi pembatasan pergerakan hewan dan stamping out ya hewan ya. Kemudian program yang kedua adalah vaccination. Kemudian ketiga surveillance dan yang keempat adalah recovery of FMD apa tadi? Free status ya. Jadi ada 4 strategi yang telah diterapkan Jepang sehingga dalam waktu 130 hari mereka bisa mengeradikasi atau membebaskan Jepang dari FMD. Tadi yang pertama adalah stamping out dan movement restriction. Yang kedua adalah vaksinasi, yang ketiga surveillance, dan yang keempat recovery of FMD free status. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, kalau kita melihat kaitan dengan stamping out dan recovery tadi dijelaskan bahwa untuk kategori ya semua hewan yang terinfeksi dan suspek tadi dikatakan kulit ya dilakukan stepping out itu ya. Kemudian untuk produknya ya dilakukan pembakaran karkas dan animal product yang di stepping out tadi dilakukan pembakaran, dan yang ketiga kotoran feces dan yang lain dilakukan pemanasan 60 derajat untuk mematikan virus itu Bapak Ibu. Terkait dengan karantina tadi sampaikan Bapak Ibu bahwa untuk hewan yang berada di dalam radius 10 km itu dilakukan keras ya, tidak boleh ada pergerakan hewan tadi ya. Tidak boleh ada pergerakan hewan. Kemudian di area zone 20 km dari area infected farm atau farm yang terinfeksi dengan jarak 20 km, ini juga dilakukan pembatasan pergerakan shipment restriction zone ya, artinya pergerakan. Kalau tadi 10 km hewan-hewan yang terinfeksi tadi tidak boleh dilakukan pergerakan ya. Kalau di zona 20 km itu dilakukan pembatasan atau pelarangan shipment restriction zone gitu ya. Bapak Ibu, kalau kita bicara tadi vaksinasi, tadi sampaikan bahwa vaksinasi ada pembagian zona ya. Yang pertama adalah zona disaster zone ya, tadi yang titik tengah ya. Kalau kita buat bulatan tadi ya, di titik tengah tadi ada disaster zone itu ya. Kemudian kedua baru 10 km itu dilakukan movement restriction ya. Nah ini. Jadi di E ini adalah stamping out ya, di zona disaster ya, semua hewan yang itu dilakukan stepping out. Kemudian di B, zona B adalah zona pelarangan pergerakan itu ya. Baru yang C adalah zona vaksinasi, di atas 10 km itu dilakukan vaksinasi ya. Jadi di 10 km dari farm yang terinfeksi itu dilakukan stepping out gitu ya, dan dilakukan pelarangan pergerakan di 10 km dari farm yang terinfeksi ya. Semua hewan yang terinfeksi dan diduga terinfeksi dilakukan stepping out gitu ya. Kemudian zona vaksinasi dilakukan di setelah 10 km tadi, atau zona di C ini ya, zona vaksinasi. Yang terakhir tadi katakan strategi keempat adalah safety area. Bapak Ibu, kalau kita melihat tadi sampaikan.
Can I add the one information? Because at that time we used the single shot for vaccine, but at that time we don't have much time and much volume of the vaccine. So in emergency case we use the
single shot system ya.
But normally we should do the booster system. Second time, yes. Emergency. In this case, is the emergency we use single. So please.
So that means the zone.
Normally, you have to. Normal protocol have to do the
second vaccination. But this only one.
We don't have much time and volume of the vaccine.
Oh, okay. So you only use the one single shot ya, single shot vaccination ya.
Standard protocol is a second shot is
two time ya. Two time. But you use the only one.
Yes,
only
one. That is
emerging. Okay. Ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu tambahan tadi vaksinasi yang terapkan tadi hanya single shot gitu ya, single shot no boost gitu ya. Dan ini terlihat Bapak Ibu tadi apa sampaikan Prof Tamaki, setelah 2 minggu vaksinasi, artinya di area B ini lakukan vaksinasi semua hewan ya dengan range 10 km tadi. Itu kemudian setelah 2 minggu ya, 2 minggu setelah vaksinasi sudah tidak ditemukan lagi adanya case atau kasus FMK gitu ya, FMK. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, kemudian selanjutnya yang perlu juga kami sampaikan, tadi terakhir beliau juga menyampaikan terkait dengan apa saja yang dipergunakan untuk melakukan deteksi PMK ini. Tadi beliau juga sharing kaitan dengan teknologi apa saja yang diterapkan Jepang untuk memudahkan baik kaitan deteksi dan ataupun surveillance. Yang pertama adalah pemanfaatan ICT kit gitu ya. Jadi rapid test itu yang mereka juga lakukan, dia pakai gitu ya. Kalau kita menggunakan ELISA NSP gitu ya, mereka juga melakukan dengan ICT kit ya. Kemudian yang kedua adalah menggunakan sequencing ya, sequencing untuk melakukan sequencing kaitan dengan hasil PCR. Mereka juga menerapkan alat multiple Q RT-PCR. Kemudian ada juga menggunakan teknologi yang termutakhir kita belum memiliki Bapak Ibu, yaitu menggunakan droplet digital PCR gitu ya, droplet digital PCR. Dan yang keempat ya menggunakan mobile PCR. Nah, mobile PCR ini akan digunakan terutama di daerah-daerah yang jauh gitu ya. Ini tadi beliau menyampaikan bahwa digital PCR ini cukup bisa dipakai di lapangan gitu ya, mudah gitu ya. Dan ini sedang kita lakukan penjajakan collaboration riset antara BPUSKP dengan Miyazaki ya untuk pemanfaatan mobile PCR ini. Dan beliau tadi juga menyampaikan bahwa untuk keperluan master mic-nya tadi bisa master mic dibuat dalam bentuk freeze dry gitu ya, di dalam bentuk kering beku ya, sehingga memudahkan transport dari ke daerah-daerah Bapak Ibu. Ini mungkin salah satu barangkali mempercepat metode deteksi ya, deteksi FMD di lapangan. Dan terakhir Bapak Ibu, ini meskipun mungkin baru kita dengar, beliau tadi juga memaparkan kaitan dengan adanya tick-borne disease, penyakit yang ditularkan oleh tick atau sejenis kutu atau caplak ya. Tick-borne disease, penyakit yang ditularkan oleh gigitan serangga gitu ya, tick-borne disease. Nah, ini salah satu penyakit yang mungkin barangkali Bapak Ibu baru mendengar gitu ya. Tapi di Jepang ternyata memiliki case fatality yang cukup besar, yaitu antara 16 sampai 27% ya case fatality pada manusia akibat penyakit itu, yaitu penyakit severe fever with thrombocytopenia syndrome. Jadi penyakit demam ya, demam dan menyebabkan terjadinya trombositopenia, penurunan trombosit secara cepat gitu ya. Nah, yang disebabkan oleh adanya gigitan ya, gigitan dari tick atau dari mungkin vektor gitu ya. Vektor yang tadi beliau katakan ada dua jenis yaitu. Yang pertama salvatic cycle, yang kedua adalah urban cycle. Kalau salvatic cycle itu adanya gigitan serangga ke orang dan atau ke hewan ternak gitu ya, dari yang berasal dari hewan liar. Di sana tadi jelaskan ada deer dan pig, babi dan rusa gitu ya. Itu bisa menularkan dari hutan atau dari satwa liar. Mungkin ticknya tadi. Coba Mas gambar ticknya tadi Mas. Ada gambar apa? Siklus. Excuse me. Siklus ya. This one. Siklus siklus. Ya. Nah, ini Bapak Ibu dari tick tadi bisa menggigit orang gitu ya. Yang awalnya berasal dari satwa liar kemudian. Kemudian kalau menjadi urban, untuk kucing dan atau anjing gitu ya, yang tergigit oleh caplak tadi, itu bisa menularkan ke orang ya. Jadi dari orang ke kucing ya, kucing ke orang gitu ya. Itu urban cycle gitu ya. Jadi setelah anjing kucing kita terinfeksi oleh virus ini, oleh virus SFTS tadi, SFTS ya, itu bisa menular pada orang. Oleh karena itu tadi beliau menyarankan mungkin barangkali ada baiknya karantina Indonesia untuk melakukan surveillance kaitan dengan importasi anjing atau kucing ya, melihat kalau ada ditemukan serangga gitu ya, ditemukan vektornya, itu vektornya untuk dilakukan pengujian gitu ya. Karena ini sampaikan bahwa di Cina, di Korea dan di Jepang ini penyakit ini sudah cukup apa ya, case fatality cukup tinggi gitu ya. Tadi ada beberapa hewan yang bisa menularkan ya, yang dilakukan riset oleh Prof. Tamaki tadi. Yang pertama adalah cattle, kemudian pig, chicken, goat, deer, wild boar, dog, dan cat itu ya. Ini beberapa hewan yang kemungkinan bisa menularkan ke orang gitu ya, setelah tergigit oleh tick yang tadi membawa virus SFT-SV gitu ya. Artinya setelah tick tadi membawa virus SFT ya, FFT, kemudian menggigit hewan ini dan itu bisa menularkan kepada manusia. Dengan case fatality tadi sampaikan di Cina kurang lebih antara 11 sampai case fatality-nya antara 11 sampai 30% dan di Jepang 16 sampai 27%. Ya mudah-mudahan ini tidak terjadi di negara kita. Kalau di negara kita umumnya kita mendengar dan mungkin mendapatkan case banyak adalah demam berdarah. Ya mungkin ini mirip-mirip demam berdarah Bapak Ibu ya, tapi yang ini common dilakukan terjadi di Jepang dan diwaspadai di Jepang. Demikian mungkin barangkali ringkasan dari apa yang dipaparkan oleh Prof. Tamaki. You can question and answer. Oke. Jadi Prof. Tamaki siap untuk berdiskusi dengan Bapak Ibu kalau ada pertanyaan yang perlu sampaikan. Boleh langsung disampaikan dengan bahasa Inggris atau bahasa Indonesia. Mungkin nanti ada Mas Rizar yang akan menerjemahkan ke dalam bahasa Inggris. Baik, kami buka kesempatan dulu ke audien yang secara virtual. Silakan Bu Mujiatun dari Pusat Karantina Hewan, from the headquarters. Dr. Mujiatun ya, silakan.
Terima kasih Dr. Srianto. Mohon izin saya ingin sedikit bertanya kepada Honorable Dr. Tamaki. Welcome to Indonesia in Agriculture Quarantine Agency. I am Mujiatun. I would like to ask to you about how about early detection system for transboundary animal disease in Japan, and also how about government of Japan national regulation for transboundary animal disease that it is not present in Japan. We call exotic disease, because we know that if we would like to diagnose some disease, we need like antigen or monoclonal antibody, some kit, and others. Thank you, Dr. Miyazaki, Dr. Tamaki.
Baik, terima kasih Bu Mujiatun. Mungkin ada yang lain lagi sebelum dijawab oleh Prof. Tamaki? Silakan Bapak Ibu. Silakan, ada yang lain? Silakan dengan raise hand atau langsung juga boleh tanpa raise hand. Mbak Wulan, Gorontalo, ya silakan.
Lanjut dok.
Oh lanjut, oke. Mbak Devi Priyo, ada pertanyaan? Oh, enggak. Atau di ruangan sini, kalau ada pertanyaan silakan. Silakan Mas Nova. Bu Helmi. We collect the question first before you respond. Silakan Mas Nova.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Srianto. Good morning, Prof. Okabayashi. We believe it's a great opportunity to learn from Japanese experience against FMD. So actually I have 4 questions, if you don't mind. The first one is, you said earlier that carcasses, feces, feed bedding are buried and disinfected. Now, what kind of disinfection mostly used in Japan? Is there any different based on the material? I mean, if we want to disinfection in feces and feed bedding, is there a different, including the vehicle that you mentioned from animal restriction? The second one, you said earlier that feces are inactivated by heating 60 degrees. But how to treat liquid waste from infected farm? I mean, beside urine, we use water to clean the pen. I think it's more difficult to handle. The third one, who are involved to restrict the animal movement? Quarantine officer, police, or maybe others. And the last one, how the government makes sure that there is no animal movement within 20-kilometer radius. Thank you for the opportunity.
Makasih Mas Nova. Bu Helmi? Finally, how the government make sure that the movement animal is control is you have a regulation to restrict the movement of animal. How to make sure that government how government make sure that the movement is control it. Ya, is control it ya, terkontrol lah. Boleh dalam bahasa nanti Mas Risa akan menerjemahkan.
Okay, thank you Mr. Tamayaki. I want to ask you in bahasa. It's okay. Di dalam paparan tentang vaksinasi, saya melihat outbreak di tanggal 19, di tanggal 22 sampai tanggal 26 Mei itu Miyazaki sudah berhasil melakukan vaksinasi pada hewan 1066 farm. Nah, strateginya itu seperti apa sih? Kok dalam hanya waktu beberapa hari aja sudah ada vaksin? Apakah memang sudah direncanakan atau seperti direncanakan gitu loh? Sangat cepat sekali semuanya sudah ada. Kalau kita lihat di sini, kasusnya tanggal segini, diagnosanya tanggal segini, vaksin entah kapan datang gitu loh. Kok bisa secepat itu. Nah, setelah vaksin, strateginya lagi di 30 Juni itu semuanya dimusnahkan dan dipotong. Pendekatan yang seperti apa itu, latar belakangnya seperti apa sehingga kebijakan yang begini, hewan yang divaksin, yang dipotong, yang dimusnahkan. Terus yang kedua terkait dengan SFTS, di beberapa negara itu hanya berhasil mendeteksi ada antibodi terhadap penyakit tersebut. Tetapi secara PCR tidak berhasil membuktikan itu kemungkinannya seperti apa. Mohon kita dikasih penjelasan. Demikian.
Baik, thank you Bu Helmi. Bu Helmi has two questions. First one is first time you got the cases of FMD is 19 of April, and then 1 month later you decide to vaccination. 19 of May you decision to take the vaccination, and then 22 until 26 of May you done vaccination around one berapa tadi? 1000 berapa ya? You done vaccination ya? Vaccination. How come you already have the vaccination or you import, or because after first time you got the cases, and then 1 month later you already ready for the vaccination? Very fast, yeah, very fast. And secondly, regarding to the SFTS virus, yeah, from do detection using the ELISA detection, yeah, they found that antibody found it, yeah, the antibody is found, but using the PCR they don't antigen, ya, antigen didn't catch by the PCR. Could you like to explain? Mungkin 3 dulu Bapak Ibu ya, akan direspon dari Prof. Tamaki. The time is yours. Yeah. There is 3 question, 3 people question. Ibu Mujiatun, Mr. Nova, and Miss Helmi. Please, the time yours.
thank you very much. So, first question is the early detection system, right? First, the early detection system of the such a exotic. Quarantine office, quarantine inspection, of course, they are trying to develop such an early detection system, but basically they already set up the standard protocol to detect their quarantine inspection laboratory. And as for the FMD viruses, as for the FMD diagnose, Japanese NIH already succeeded to develop the immunochromatography diagnosis kit to detect the FMD. And furthermore, not only the detect, but also the identify the serotype. Of course, they succeeded to develop it, but they don't use that diagnosis kit in the practice to the check the imported cattle or imported meat, because that is one of the draft easy to it's not reliable. So basically, officially they use the PCR or the such a gold standard to detect for the quarantine. But they already succeeded to develop such an early detection system. And second question is regulation of the exotic, because to rule of regulation of the exotic pathogen transboundary disease. In Japan, FMD, ASF was such a legal disease. We, it means the university cannot handle it. We cannot touch, so we cannot order such an antigen or something, because Japanese government have a responsibility to protect the Japanese farmer from such a diseases. But the university level cannot cannot support or cannot have such a responsibility to protect the farmer. So we can do that research, but we couldn't touch the real clinical sample of such a transboundary disease. So to validate the African swine fever diagnosis kit we developed in the university, we ask the Indonesia government or the bullying or the quarantine service, the quarantine agency to support us to validate for our diagnosis system. It means that such a it was centralized of touch that this pathogen. So next question is from about this infection for the feces for FMD. So I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I didn't at that time. I didn't know that about the detailed information of the. Yes, that is a very good question, and I don't know how to disinfect the heat up the fecal sample until the how much temperature I forgot. 60 degree or something, but I don't know. I think that they keep it in the the feces that could not be buried were subjected to virus inactivation through composting system they used. So it was stuck to allow heat to develop within it and left for at least 42 days on infected to farm. And of course, at that time, they check the temperature because the feces make a, you know that such a feces make a very warm. So at that time, they confirm that temperature, they ensure that temperature reaching at least 60 degrees throughout the stock. And furthermore, as for the disinfection for the such a buried carcass or the disinfect for the vehicle, they use calcium powder or lime powder. Lime powder. You understand lime powder? Like a calcium powder. Calcium powder. We use it. And is it okay? Okay. And next question is to the restriction of the movement. Who support this one? But that is mainly is the Ministry of Agriculture. They are the top. Of course, not only the government side, but also the local government also supported. And the Ministry of Agriculture, branch of the local officer also, and not only the police. Of course, police and Japanese army also support. Yes, and furthermore, not only the Miyazaki prefecture, we invite the veterinarian all over the Japan to join vaccination or the movement restriction or the buried animal or the slaughtered animal. We invite the how many people I forgot, but just a moment. So many veterinarians were invited. Yes, 150,000 people were invited to tackle this, to finalize this work. Not only the veterinarian, but also government and the army or something. So such many people come to Miyazaki to control these diseases. But unfortunately, at that time, I lived in Thailand, so I didn't know that this is this outbreak. Sorry, but it was in the record. It was said that, and of course, not only the government, ministry, prime minister also. He is a leader of. At that time he was a leader to control over this issue. So he ordered the Ministry of Agriculture to control over these diseases. So that is who restricted this one. And our next question is from you, Kana, about vaccination. Why we can prepare your question is why we can prepare the vaccine so quickly, right? Yeah. Because at that time we use the vaccine. Sorry. ちょっと待ってね。We use the vaccine. It was kept in Japan. We already prepared. Yes, because so anytime we still now we have some vaccine, many vaccine and anti drug also for FMD. So sometimes it's under government. I mean, not private. We can private level. We cannot touch the FMD diseases. So NIH of Japan, every time they made a stock, they are making a stock of the vaccine. So sometimes it will expire. We deliver throw away or that deliver the another Asian countries. I heard that. I'm not sure we deliver it in Indonesia, but I heard that we deliver it to the Laos, expired vaccine we provide it to the Laos. Yeah, basically we import. Yes, we import the vaccine. Yes.
From China or?
Not China. あれちょっと待ってね。This one. We medial one. Medial animal health. We imported medial. I don't know. Medial one. Sorry. はい、sorry. Japanese. After Poa, we import maybe French. Medial is a French company. So it means that we prepared. So fortunately, at that time, all serotypes were endemic. So fortunately, at that March, I'm sorry, I forgot which serotype they keep it. They make a stock in now. But at that time, fortunately, stock the vaccine is a serotype O. So they can use it. But you said that it will very quickly, but in farmer or the local government very angry. It to take too time, too slow. Yeah. So I think that it related with compensation. Because at that time we don't compensation. You understand?
Compensation.
So it means that pay the money, government pay the money to support the farmer. Because at that time, government have a rule to support the farmer. They were infected with FMD, but they don't have any rule to support the farm, just vaccinated. Because vaccine is not infection, right? So at that time, we don't have a rule. So to set up such a compensation rule, compensatory rule, it takes a time. Because it means that our vaccine system is a killed not a vaccine for kill. Yes, so they were not infected one. So that is out of the rule of the compensation of FMD in Japan. So a little take a time. Please explain that. I'm sorry. And the final question is SFT diseases. So I don't know the question, but
How to detect the virus?
antibody? Antibody is detected by, of course, it depends on the different country, but to detect the antibody, they use the ELISA. And in Japan, we have two types of the ELISA. One ELISA is provided from NIH of Japan. They use the crude cell lysate. So I think that reactivity is a little low sensitivity and low specificity. But now we succeeded, our university succeeded to develop the recombinant protein, ELISA using a recombinant protein. So I think that very clear. That is a very clear. So I recommend you to use our ELISA system. And as for the PCR, it's already reported many groups. And I think that it is possible to use this PCR in the mobile PCR also. We already set the mobile PCR SFTS detection system. Please explain to.
Is it? Detect the disease both in host, in dog or cat, and the other is in the vector, in the pig. If the host, Dr. Haley said that using ELISA is positive, but how we can detect using the PCR? Detect the STFF in the host.
In the
using
host?
PCR.
Using
if the ELISA is positive.
I see. Oh, okay. I see. Yes. Of course, that data is a different data. surveillance, antibody surveillance and PCR is a different purpose. Because antibody is just produced from the recovery or the not the acute phases. But the PCR show the acute or the such a viremia phases. Purpose is a difference. So antibody detection level and the PCR positive rate is not correlated. But in wild boar case, in our wild boar case, we found a PCR positive and the antibody positive. We found it, such a cases. What's mean? Because this data suggested that wild boar can survive even if they have a virus. PCR, even if they have a PCR positive, and furthermore, they have an antibody, but they can survive. It means that wild boar is one of the reservoir of these diseases. But actually, in cat cases, we have never seen the antibody positive and PCR positive cases. Just recovery cases, we found it. But it means the cat show the clinical sign, almost a cat will die.
Thank you, Prof. Tamaki. Bapak Ibu, mungkin masih ada lagi yang ingin bertanya atau berdiskusi. Kami masih ada waktu. Silakan Bapak Ibu, hingga pukul 11.30. Oh ya, silakan Bu Desni ya.
Thank you for Prof. Okabayashi. We have several questions. Your presentation, you mentioned before that you, for the recovery of FMD free status, in your PowerPoint, you mentioned it's about 3 months, if I'm not mistaken. But when we read in the OIA regulation, it said that for the country where vaccination is practiced, it should be 24 months here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why you can, apply for just 3 months, the difference between the statement in OIA for 24 months and you in your country just 3 months. And the second question, for your restriction movement, how far the restriction movement from the infected farm, and because it's not really clear, because you have rings on that's infected, you stamping out, and restriction movement, and vaccination is 10 kilometers. So how far the restriction movement? Because for the shift movement, that's 20 kilometers, right? And you have 3 rings on, then the restriction movement. So is it from the infected? It is all the farm within the radius 1 kilometer to 10 kilometer from the infected farms, even though they are not infected? That's the second question. Can you show the 3 ring, you know, this one? No, the 3 rings, yeah, this one. So from the stamping out is the infected farm, right? And the restriction of movement, how far from, is it 1 kilometer from the infected farm, and the vaccination is around 10 kilometer. So, and the shipment restriction is 20 kilometer, right? You said that in your previous shipment restriction and the restriction and movement, yeah, restriction. So it's quite confusing. And also I just wanna confirm that the emergency vaccinated, because after you do the what is the definition and the parameter, you do the emergency vaccination. And because I saw that in your slide that the vaccinated emergency, the animal then will be cool, will be stamping out, right? So what is the great? So is it the emergency vaccination to all the infected or suspected animals surround the farm? And how many kilometers? I mean, yeah. If you can explain detail about the emergency vaccination and why you call it after that, or maybe that's for the OIA requirement, WA requirement for a free disease status. And also my last question, for your Pico what it's called? Pico gene, yeah. You use a prop base, right? Can we use DNA binding dye base like cybergreen, cytonine? No, okay. That's my question. My question and Tari question.
Thank you very much for your question. And the first question is recovery of FMD status. So I'm sorry, I don't know. So I think that I've used this reference data from these pages. So this is one of the recovery of FMD status. But I don't know, you said that 24 months for vaccination. So I don't know, could you share that information? I will recheck, and I'm sorry, I cannot answer now. Is it included the stamping out policy?
Terrestrial code online access for FMD.
I see.
World Organization for Animal Health, Chapter 8.8.
Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot answer now. So I will recheck and compare with it. Is it your
85.
reference? Is it include the stamping out policy?
This is article mana tadi ya? 8.8.
8.48. This one. I'm sorry, that is a very important issue. So I cannot answer it now without any reference data. So can I give me a time? Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And as for the movement restriction, like this one. So, そうだね. As you pointed, I also, ちょっと待ってください。ちょっと、wait a moment. So here I show that restriction vaccine zone is your question is my discrepancy. This slide shows that vaccination area is 10 kilometers, but movement restriction is radius of 10 kilometers around the infected farm, right? And this is a shipment of a restriction zone within a radius 20 kilometers around an infected farm. What should I say? This is a shipment restriction zone, and this is a cattle movement zone. Different. So at that time, within a 20 kilometers, nobody can go out, but within a 20 kilometers from the infected farm. And in this, that is the movement restriction zone in the 10 kilometer infected farm is a movement of the animal or carcass or such a farmer equipment. This is a within a vehicle was a shipment restriction. Different. I'm sorry, I cannot, sorry.
Movement restriction is 10 kilometers based on previous slide. It means that the movement restriction and vaccination restriction is in the same area, right? And here, that's the difference.
Yeah, you say that this B area is just smaller than the 10 kilometers, right?
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know that. I'm sorry, I don't know the detail, but maybe related to the vaccine. I'm sorry, I cannot answer now this one also. I'm sorry, I also try to make up data. So, sorry. And another question, third question. I'm sorry, I cannot catch the third question. Does she have another question?
That's the one with the end binding die. The other, I think I understand now. I mean, the other question.
Yes.
Yeah, because. Yeah.
Because cyber green. Cyber green cannot use the because.
Yeah, then yeah.
Sorry, that
I have answered it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I already answered it. Thank you very much. I will check it and share the information.
Okay. Yeah, I will email you then.
Okay, thank you.
Baik, thank you, Prof. Tamaki, for your answer. Before we close, I just want one question. Yeah. Based on your presentation, the FME cases only in Miyazaki. If there are any farm beside the Miyazaki, or only in the farm of the livestock concentrate in the Miyazaki prefecture, is there any another prefecture that exists the livestock in Japan?
So, not only the Miyazaki, next province also has many big industry, big livestock farm or something. So at that time, so every province neighbor of Miyazaki, they make a what should I say? Quarantine point they prepare. So, and furthermore, they inhibit the movement from the car or anything from the Miyazaki prefecture. So, of course, they prepare the, as I told you, so Miyazaki also prepares a disinfection point and the quarantine spot in the Miyazaki province. But another country, another province also prepared the gate, and they inhibited the entrance or the movement from the Miyazaki, everything. Only the air flight can enter. So I think that we succeeded to restrict or limit to the FMD outbreak within Miyazaki. Of course, we couldn't, anyway, this is what should I say, very disaster, but I'm proud Miyazaki local government and the Japanese government inhibit the FMD outbreak within one province. That is a good achievement for them.
Thank you. Bapak Ibu, mungkin karena waktu juga yang membatasi kita, mungkin tidak semua apa yang paparkan Prof Tamaki tadi bisa panjang lebar gitu ya. Mungkin karena waktu juga. Tapi pada poinnya mungkin sebelum kami tutup ada beberapa hal yang ingin kami resume ya. Yang pertama bahwa Jepang ya tadi katakan Jepang farm kaitan dengan livestock ya, baik ternak babi, kemudian sapi ya, sapi itu tidak hanya di Miyazaki. Namun case FMK ini hanya terjadi di Miyazaki dan di daerah lain tidak terjadi. Karena apa? Tadi dengan melakukan tindakan karantina yang ketat gitu ya, Bapak Ibu, dengan tindakan karantina ketat. Artinya kalau kita melihat kemungkinan masuknya PMK ke Miyazaki ya, dan juga mungkin ke tempat daerah lain, ini kalau kita tadi sampaikan bahwa pertama kalau masuknya melalui organisme ya hewan hidup dan ataupun produk of livestock ya, itu tidak mungkin gitu ya. Karena sudah ada regulasi kaitan dan pelarangan masuknya produk dari daerah yang belum bebas PMK. Jadi kalau masuknya melalui organisme ya, organisme dan livestock product itu no gitu ya. Yang kedua ini disampaikan juga kalau masuknya PMK karena spirit of wine ya, artinya melalui udara gitu ya. Itu tadi katakan juga no gitu ya. Yang paling mungkin adalah Bapak Ibu masuknya PMK tadi melalui people dan illegal importing of livestock product gitu ya. Jadi kemungkinan masuknya PMK tadi berasal dari people gitu ya, people dan ataupun illegal import of livestock product ya, produk. Ya. Oleh karena itu Bapak Ibu, lesson learned dari presentasi kita di hari ini ada 3 hal yang mungkin barangkali penting untuk kita selaku quarantine officer untuk bisa menerapkan secara ketat, yaitu strict control of at the point gitu ya. Strict control at the point, artinya tempat-tempat pemasukan atau pengeluaran harus bisa kontrol secara ketat baru, secara strict ya. Apa itu yang kita kontrol, kita strict control? Yang pertama adalah disinfection of the shoes. You can, excuse me, share the PowerPoint. Strict control of at the point. Strict control at the point. Ya. Ya. Jadi yang pertama adalah kita harus bisa mengupayakan desinfeksi ya dari sepatu. The strict control, strict control at the point. Jadi Bapak Ibu, dari orang yang sepatu dan vehicle ya, artinya alat transportasi dan apa itu dan sepatu ya, mungkin juga orangnya itu harus dilakukan desinfeksi. Yang kedua adalah dengan kuesioner gitu ya. Kuesioner artinya mungkin kalau di luar itu ya penumpang atau orang membawa itu harus ada kuesioner ya. Kuesioner artinya declaration ya. Declaration apakah membawa atau tidak sesuatu yang terkait dengan FMD produk gitu ya. Lesson learn ya. Lesson learn from the FMD. Lesson learn ya. Yeah, the other one before, yeah, after that. Yes, ya. Jadi pertama adalah desinfeksi dari shoes and traveler ya. Jadi sepatu dan dari traveler dan vehicle at the port itu ya. Artinya kita harus bisa melakukan desinfeksi. Kemarin pusat sudah menyediakan Bapak Ibu mobil desinfeksi. Oleh karena itu harus bisa kita optimalkan untuk bisa melakukan desinfeksi terutama kaitan dengan vehicle yang masuk atau keluar dari port itu. Yang kedua adalah kuesioner ya, harus melakukan kuesioner ya bagi traveler yang datang ya, termasuk juga nanti melaksanakan inspeksi terhadap barang bawaannya gitu ya. Kalau perlu dilakukan desinfeksi juga gitu ya. Yang ketiga adalah penggunaan detektor anjing gitu ya. Artinya mereka menggunakan anjing selaku untuk mendeteksi apakah di barang bawaan itu membawa livestock produk gitu ya, livestock produk. Oleh karena dengan cara ini Bapak Ibu mereka bisa meyakinkan bahwa penyakit PMK tidak keluar atau menular dari provinsi Miyazaki ke bagian provinsi yang lainnya di Jepang dan bisa terkontrol terkendali hanya di Miyazaki. Mungkin demikian beberapa hal yang bisa kami simpulkan kaitan dengan kegiatan quarantine lecture pagi hari ini. Thank you very much, Honorable Prof. Tamaki, for your great presentation and wonderful and powerful experience regarding to the control of FND in Miyazaki. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu sekalian. Karena waktu juga membatasi kita, kami cukupkan sekian kegiatan quarantine lecture pagi ini. Kita beri applause kepada Prof. Tamaki. Thank you and good day. Good day. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.